Greetings Internet, and welcome to the next of the 12 vids of Oxmas. For today's video, as with all of the other ones, I'm going to be doing something just a scotch away from what most would consider normal YouTube content. Because, well, normal is not what we do on this channel. So, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be doing a slight little bit of an instructional video of sorts. We're going to be wrapping a Christmas present in multiple different ways. I'm going to show you all the ways that I know of. Some of them will probably be a tad surprising to you. Some of them will be like, everyone does it that way. So, without further ado, let's get right to it, shall we? So, for our present, oops, I forgot I wasn't supposed to show that side because, you know, non-branded material. For our present, I'm going to substitute with this little box right here. Which is hopefully, there we go, now it's in frame. This lovely little box right here. So, the first way to wrap a present is the old traditional standby of actually using some plain Jane old wrapping paper. So, go ahead and cut open the wrapping paper. Just like that. And I think for this particular box, I'm going to go with the Christmas tree themed one. So the bright and merry red can go over there. So obviously the first thing you'll want to do, if you'll notice that there are these little plastic sleeves on it to keep the wrapping paper all nice and wrapped up on the cardboard tube. You'll want to pull those off and either hold on to them or discard them. For the moment I'm doing kind of both. I'm discarding them off camera or on camera. I'm not sure how far on the camera you can see. And I'm going to be keeping them to put back on this after the fact. Ooh, I didn't notice that about this wrapping paper. It's double-sided. On this side, it's got a nice little candy cane strip going on. On this side, Christmas trees. Ooh. Okay, so before I get any farther, I'm going to cut here and get a closer shot so you can actually see me working on this. So be right back, ladies and gentlemen, and all other configurations to be. Okay, so for this method, the first thing you're going to want to do is roll out your paper a little bit, but only as much as you need for the box. I chose this little one because, well, it's little and it's not going to take up that much wrapping paper. So there are a couple schools of thought on on how to do this next part. Now, some people can just fold the paper over like this and then fold it again, thusly, and somehow get it to actually stay on the present by, just having it tightly folded under. I'm not very good at that particular step, honestly. So what I usually do is the other school of thought. I'll take a strip of tape. Oop, I forgot that I had yet to actually start this one. So let me just do this. So I'll take a little strip of tape. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention, in cases like this where you have just a little box, if you don't want to waste a lot of paper cutting off the edges once you actually got it wrapped, it's usually a good thing to just choose a corner of the wrapping paper to put the box on. And kind of guesstimate how much wrapping paper you're going to need for the end. And that seems like a good amount. So anyway, as I was saying, some people can do this by just folding the paper over and having the package hold the paper in place, but I'm not so good at that, so I'm of the school of thought where you actually tape the paper to the package itself. So then you roll it over itself like this, all nice and neat. Then you'll take your scissors and you will cut along the edge of the paper, although I should probably work on the edge just a little bit, make it a little more even. There we go. So So then you cut along the paper. This is going to be kind of awkward because I've got my arms backwards for this. You know what, I'll just cut left-handed. Still going to be a bit awkward, but not quite as awkward. Now you'll have to kind of figure out where the edge of the box is. So it's right about there, and we want the paper to be about even. So here's this edge of the box, there's that edge, so I need to cut all the way to the trunk of this tree here. That's about right there. So then you will unwrap the gift again. And at this point, you'll take the scissors and cut along from where you left off. Like this, while trying desperately to maintain a straight line. I kind of mucked that one up at the end, but there should still be enough paper regardless to fix that. As evidenced by the fact that on this side, right down here, it's all nice and flat, and this side is all, well, you see what I did here. So at this point, you'll want to take another strip of tape and place it right here on the paper, like so. See the nice little shiny spot? Somewhere, there it is. So then, what I like to do with a square-shaped parcel like this, by the way, when you've got the box wrapped, you can set the rest of the wrapping paper aside. So what I like to do is first I like to trim up the edge, make sure it doesn't look quite like that. This is not a necessary step. You can carry on without doing this, but I like to try and keep my edges clean. At least as clean as I possibly can. And just snip that off there. And if you're lucky, like I just got, you now have a fancy necktie. I say, Stanley, it's a fine mess you've gotten us into. Alright, so then, what I like to do is I will take the end like this and fold the paper inwards, thusly, which will cause the paper on one of the two sides to fold in on itself, which is okay. Just kind of fold it like this, and then you take the other corner like that, and you fold it over itself. Now at this point, some of you who may actually be more of a professional gift wrapper may be cringing because, you know, that corner should not go all the way over. So what you can do at this step is you can fold that new little corner over, and you can have the end of your gift looking like this. Or if you're a little bit on the, I wouldn't call it lazy, but the not so professional side, you can have the end like this. But for the sake of appearances, I shall put it thusly. So, holding that with one hand while you get the tape from the other. Then you can either do one of two things. You can tape along these two seams here, or you can tape along that line right there at the bottom. I'm going to tape at that line at the bottom. Like that. And then you just rinse and repeat on the other side, although I'm seeing now that I did not get nearly as much paper because I cut off that excess. But we can still work with this, and I can show you another technique. It's very similar to the first one, only instead of having the paper fold all the way over to the end like this, you'll have the paper kind of fold over itself like that. Now, to keep things even, symmetrical, or however you want to word it, this top flap needs to be over the bottom one, like so, because the top flap is over the bottom flap on that side. So when you get it there, again, you'll hold the paper with one hand while you get the tape with the other. This is not as easy as it looks on camera. And I mean when you're, looking through the viewfinder, trying to watch yourself do this. So just as before, you can either put a piece of tape along the seam, which actually it looks like that's the only way with this side, or you could go along the sides, but I'm going with what I did on the other side. And voila! You have wrapped a Christmas present. Now there are other little things you can add to it. Like, say, if you wanted to put a bow on there, you could do such a thing. And one necessary step is to actually either get a tag, like one of these nice decorative tags. As you can see, these ones have been used, but you could also get, like, a brand new thing of tags and slap one on there. You could, if you were really, kind of strapped for cash, just like take a piece of masking tape and put it on the edge there and write the person's name on it. But purely and simply, that is one way to wrap a Christmas present. Now I'm going to move on to another way to wrap a Christmas present. And this one's a lot smoother, a lot more easy to do, a lot less of a hassle, so be right back as I set that one up. Alright, so as before, you'll have your gift all ready and raring to go. So for this method, it's very simple. At the shopping centers, you'll have seen that there are, wrapping paper, and there's gift bags. And so, for this next step, for this next way to wrap a gift, you would simply find an appropriately sized and themed gift bag. Although we didn't have any, really small Christmassy ones, so I just grabbed what I had on hand. And what you'll do is you'll open it up, get it all nice and unfolded, like that. And then you will simply either take a pre-wrapped gift and drop it in there, or take an unwrapped gift, like this. Just go ahead and drop that in. Then you'll get yourself a bunch of tissue paper. Just put that down in on top. Now, if this were an appropriately sized bag, what you would want to do is have the tissue paper just kind of shaped over top of the gift, or have multiple layers or multiple colors of wrapping paper. Of this stuff. I just forgot the word. I'm sorry. Anyway, you would have multiple sheets of this stuff draped in on top like this. That way you wouldn't be able to see what the gift itself actually was until you went like, wow, that's what I wanted. Or until they did that. So that's step number 2. Like I said, very easy. One thing that I've seen people do is if they don't have enough that paper that I just put in there, they will actually take the top with the handles out, and they will just take the ends like this and put a piece of tape over the ends and stick a ribbon or stick a name tag on it, and bada boom. That is way number 2 that I'm aware of, that you can wrap a gift. Let's move on to the next one, shall we? Alright, so for this next way to wrap a gift, it's kind of a far, far lower budget version of the gift bag idea that I just demonstrated. For this one, of course, you'll still need the item in question, in case you were able to read that, not sponsored. Anyway, you will obviously need the gift, and in the off chance that you don't have enough money or you just don't have any gift bags on hand from previous Christmases, you can always just get yourself a bag. Like literally a bag. You can use grocery store bags, you can use department store bags from shops at the store, and you would simply take your gift and stick it in the bag. Now, in cases like this, where the bag is really kind of thin and you can basically see what the present is through it, you can layer up. I got the handles all wrapped around themselves. You could layer it up, you could wrap this in paper towels. I've seen that done. I've seen people who would literally like take the one bag, put the item inside, and then take the store bags and put them in on top, kind of like the paper in that last one. Now, one of the downsides to this is more than likely, if you do it this way, the person will know what store you got the item from. And if you're one of those people who doesn't want people to know how much you spent on them, then I could see that being a problem. But at the same time, you do with what you have at the time. And if all you've got are the bags the store you bought the thing from, so be it. That is another of the multiple ways to wrap a present. Next we have aluminum foil. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are some of you who may not be aware of this, but there are some people who will buy a gift and they'll be a bit strapped for cash after the fact, or it'll be very close to the day that you're supposed to be giving out the gift, and they're like scrambling, trying to think of, okay, where did I put the wrapping paper? Crap, we used up all the good wrapping paper on all the other gifts, so what do we have? Now what's something I wrap things in? What's something that you can wrap? Foil! That's it. We'll put foil around the gift. So this one is very, very simple. You got as much foil as you need. For the rest of this, I'm going to chop it here and we'll do a close-up shot. So here we go. Okay, so as I was saying a moment ago, similar to the gift wrapping method with actual gift wrap, you would get as much foil as you would need. And in this case, you'd have to, considering the size of the package I'm working with this time, you have to kind of figure out, is it better to lay the package this way or this way for the amount of foil you're going to need. So in this instance, it looks like laying it this way, but a little more centered looks like the best option. So technically, you could and probably should tape the foil on there, but because of the nature of the aluminum foil, you can always just, keep on going thusly. Looks like I'm going to need just a little more foil for this, so come on, box, work with me, box. Just going to pull out a little more foil like that, and then obviously you would peel it off the roll like that. And like I was starting to say, you can either tape, which it looks like I may just wind up having to do that after all, or you can simply take the item, and because of the nature of the foil, how it likes to retain its shape when it's been folded, you could just do this. Now at this point, I think I am actually going to apply a little tape because there are these couple of parts, these little pockets right here where the foil does not want to stay down. So go ahead and do that real quick. Now with this one, you can leave it as it sits, but you would obviously have to take like a Sharpie marker or something and write the person's name on it. If you have them on hand, which I can kind of see you still having ribbons on hand at this point. I could also see you not having them because, if you couldn't afford the paper or if you didn't have any paper on hand, why would you have the ribbons? But, yeah. And also, technically, you could use name tags like you would on normal wrapping paper, or you could not, depending on if you actually had any on hand. This is one of the cheap options. And, well, at least as cheap as your aluminum foil is. So, yeah, there you go. Now, obviously, these are not all the ways you can wrap a gift, because there are also other ways you could wrap a gift. And also, it depends on the size and the shape of the package. Because, I mean, I've been working with a nice square package, making things a bit easier. But let's say you got someone a round gift. So for a gift like that, you could take the wrapping paper and wrap it around the gift lengthwise, or widthwise, where the paper is going like this, not like this. And you could like tape it in the middle and then like twist it off on the ends and like wrap it with paper, kind of like a candy wrapper. And then also, like, let's say if you don't have aluminum foil and you're, really strapped for wrapping a gift, technically you could wrap it in duct tape if you want to go that route. Also, this one brings up one of my most least favorite ways to wrap a gift, because I know there are some jokey Smurfs out there, and I have a couple in my family who like to do this kind of nonsense, where you will have the package wrapped up all nice and neat on the outside, looks normal, everything looks nice, and then they will either take the little roll of tape or like a big roll of packing tape and wrap the whole goddamn thing, making you have to get a knife or scissors or something to get your package out of there. Sorry. Lost the happy for a moment, but the happy's back. Yeah, let's just say that I'm not fond of people who do that kind of prank on Christmas, because Christmas is not a time for pranks. Christmas is a time of joy and happiness, and for some people it's a time for presents. For other people it's time to just celebrate with the ones you love. So yeah, if my watchers, if any of you happen to be one of those jokey Smurf kind of people, fine, it's okay. Have your fun at the expense of others who will probably hate you for years afterwards or think negatively of that one memory. But, just be aware that people will remember the things you do on Christmas. Anyway, this has been my video on multiple different ways to wrap a gift. If there's a way you know of to wrap a gift that I didn't go over in this video, there was one other that I completely missed out on because we don't happen to have any newspaper on hand. But if you want to go the extremely cheap route and you, like, say you've got a subscription to a newspaper, or like you get, those ads you get in the mail, like big super sale this week at MacMe. You can just take that paper and wrap it around your gift and like tape it up like you would with normal Christmas wrapping paper. That is another option. And you can do all kinds of stuff with that. But with that one, you will kind of need like a piece of masking tape, a piece of duct tape, or something to differentiate where the name tag for this person would be. And by the way, to all my subscribers who actually like to watch my content, big ups to all of y'all. Okay, but I was wrapping things up. Pun unintended this time around. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for coming back and watching another one of my videos. I do truly and greatly appreciate it. If y'all like what you've seen here today, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends if you think they would enjoy this content as well. And don't forget to jingle that jangle bell to make sure that you're alerted of updates and new videos when they are posted onto the internet. And with all of that holiday hooby-wuddy out of the way, this is Oxleymations saying cowabunga and a happy Yuletide to y'all. Later.